It's Monday, November 30th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, back from the long holiday weekend, bringing you the latest local news, including a Trumbull students' protest about the school's new field trip restrictions, a fire destroying a historic home, and much more. Rob Adams will be joining us with the latest in local sports and weather, and Donald Ang takes a look back on this day in history. Later in the show, the folks at Griffin Hospital will join us to talk about sleep wellness and how we can all get a better night's rest. But first, taking a look at today's news. A historic home in Monroe was heavily damaged by fire Sunday and left unlivable. The state police fire marshal was on the scene investigating the early morning fire, which destroyed the home at 181 Hammertown Road. The fire was reported around 5 a.m., according to Kevin Catalano, the fire department spokesman in Monroe. Catalano said the house is historic and dates back to the 1770s. He said that by 11 a.m. the fire was out, but the house was left a complete loss. One resident was home at the time, but was evacuated safely and evaluated for smoke inhalation. Fire units remained on the scene throughout the morning and early afternoon. For updates on that story, visit monroecourier.com. Well, during the 5-day Thanksgiving holiday weekend, which began Wednesday and ended at midnight, Connecticut State Police handed out more than 4,750 citations. It's actually a decrease from 2014, when about 4,950 citations were issued, and that is according to numbers released by the state police this morning. The data released also shows that the number of accidents reported this year was almost down by half from 2014. In 2014, 934 accidents were reported across the state, and 97 of those resulted in injury. But this year, the number of accidents was 513, with 59 involving injuries. Well, there's some bad news for festival lovers. The Gathering of the Vibes, which for some 2 decades has brought a long summer weekend of music to Bridgeport, will not return in 2016. Founder and operator Ken Hayes wrote in a letter posted online last Friday that festival organizers hope to return for 2017. Hayes wrote that producing the Vibes as an independent promoter is a challenging endeavor, and that after 20 years, they need to take a time out. Hayes, who is a Weston resident, first gathered the Vibes in 1996 for a festival named Deadhead Heaven, a gathering of the tribe to honor the life and music of Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. The Gathering of the Vibes music, arts, and camping festival in Seaside Park in Bridgeport had grown from 3,500 participants to more than 25,000. Hayes grew up in Greenwich as a self-proclaimed Grateful Dead aficionado. He spent many nights as a young man frequenting their shows and making friends within the Deadhead community, and especially having fun right out of college, he said. In a 2012 HAN Network article, Hayes said he had always been inspired by bringing communities together in the spirit of music, and realized that he wanted to honor the fellowship felt by so many Grateful Dead fans by planning a memorial show for Jerry Garcia. And in 1996, he and his friends began planning Deadhead Heaven on the campus of SUNY Purchase, which had agreed to the show without realizing it would be a Jerry Garcia memorial concert. The festival was subsequently held on the 370 acres of land next to the University of Bridgeport, originally donated to Bridgeport by then Mayor P.T. Barnum. Well, the Milford Police Department is investigating a burglary at a home on Devonshire Road that took place November 20th. Police said that on November 20th at about 8 at night, an unknown man entered the home by forcing his way through the kitchen window. The screen was cut and the window was pushed up. The suspect was seen by the homeowner as he stood in the kitchen. The homeowner reportedly threw a laundry basket into the kitchen and immediately ran to her bedroom, where she locked herself in. Police said it appeared that the suspect left the residence through a side door next to the kitchen without taking any belongings. The suspect is described as about 5 foot 7 inches in height, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt. Anyone with information can call the Milford Police Department at 203-878-6551. And in New Haven, police are investigating after a 79-year-old man walking home from work said he was beaten and robbed by a group of 5 young people. Police responded to the man's home at about 6:30 in the evening Sunday after getting a call from his wife. The victim, who had made his way home after the attack, was taken to the hospital. He told investigators that he was hit from behind and attacked by 5 people, one on a bike and one he described as obese. Police described them as young black youths. The man was punched, kicked, and thrown to the ground and most likely lost consciousness, and his backpack and wallet were stolen. The wallet was later recovered, police said. Detectives are reviewing video surveillance in hopes of identifying the attackers. And a Trumbull High student is opposing a school administration ruling that there will be no school field trips to major cities in response to terrorist threats. In a letter to the Trumbull Times, Ethan Bashand wrote that during one of his classes, he was informed that the district has decided to cancel all trips to major cities in response to threats made against the United States by the terrorist group ISIS. Bashand went on to say, quote, "In my opinion, bending to the will of this terror organization is the worst way to handle the situation. Not only are we being deprived of our education experience, we're also making a statement that we are afraid of any terror threats." The student said this decision has canceled a trip he would have been taking with the school to the 9/11 memorial. He said the irony of that can't be denied, and he went on to say, "We are denying a trip to a symbol of strength and stand against terrorism due to threats currently from the world's leading terror group." For more on that story and some of the discussion that it started, you can visit TrumbullTimes.com. Going to throw it over to Rob Adams now for a look at today's weather. Rob?
All right, Kate. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Well, here we are. We're back and off and running, and we've got a partly sunny day and a high only near 42 with wind chills between 25 and 35, and it feels just like that. The wind out of the northeast from 5 to 9, becoming light in the afternoon. Tonight, a slight chance of rain after 3 in the morning, mostly cloudy with a low around 31 and a calm wind becoming northeast around 6 after midnight. To Tuesday, rain mainly after 9 in the morning, high near 45, wind out of the east from 6 to 9. Tuesday night, more rain likely, cloudy, temperatures rising to 46 by midnight, northeast wind 3 to 7. To Wednesday, more showers likely, cloudy, high 54 as we climb back up, southwest wind from 3 to 8, bringing in those warmer temperatures. Wednesday night, showers again, mainly before 10. To Thursday, mostly sunny, high 47. By the way, Wednesday's low will only be 38, Wednesday night that is. Thursday, as I said, mostly sunny, high 47. Thursday night, mostly clear, low 33. Friday, sunny, high 47. Right now around the area, Ridgefield has 36, Greenwich has 40, and it's 37 degrees right here in Shelton, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Donald Eng's going to join us for a look back on this day in history. Rob Adams is going to talk sports, and we have a lot more news coming up on your coffee break after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Football University, the nation's leading football training experience, is now accepting applications for its 2015 camps. Our elite faculty of NFL coaches and top professionals teach position-specific on the field and in the classroom to improve your football IQ and help you reach your full potential as a player. Apply today at footballuniversity.org. Football University, where technique plus talent beats talent alone.
The fall bite is heating up, Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait in the Long Island Sound. This is the time to visit the New England coast, and the Dock Shop can get you outfitted with the latest fishing gear, jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece. Boater, beach bum, fishermen simply love the New England coast. This is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
And we're back on this Monday edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. Time to throw it over to Donald Eng for a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, a millionaire was taken down by a tax preparation question, and not in the normal way. But first, we go to 1803. In New Orleans, Spanish representatives officially transfer the Louisiana Territory to French representatives. Just 20 days later, that same French representative would transfer the same land to the United States as the Louisiana Purchase. 1940, in Greenwich, Connecticut, Lucille Ball marries Desi Arnaz. Arnaz was a Cuban-born nightclub performer. He met Ball when she and her entourage were touring Havana and hired him as their guide. The couple would divorce in 1960, but not before the legendary I Love Lucy. 1954, in Alabama, a meteorite crashes through a roof and hits Ann Hodges while she's taking a nap on her couch. This is the only documented case in history of a person being injured by a rock falling from space. 1982, Michael Jackson's second solo album, Thriller, released worldwide. It would become the best-selling album in history with sales over 65 million. 7 of the 9 tracks on the album would become top 10 hits. And finally, 2004, a streak we thought would never end, ended. There was this.
Nancy, you wrote down your response rather quickly, I thought. I hope it's correct. Let's take a look.
So too.
What is H&R Block? You're right. Your wager, 4,401, taking you up to 14,401. You have a $1 lead over Ken Jennings right now. And his final response was FedEx. His wager was 5601. He winds up in second place with $87.99. And Nancy Zerg, congratulations, you are indeed a giant killer. Our new Jeopardy champion, 14,401.
And that was longtime Jeopardy champion Ken Jennings of Salt Lake City, finally losing, leaving him with $2.52 million in winnings, the largest game show winnings to date. Before his 75-game winning streak that lasted over 2 seasons, Jennings had auditioned for and failed to get on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The worst part about his notoriety, according to Jennings, everyone in Utah seems to have an extra hard trivia question prepared specifically in case they ever run into him. That is your look back in history, and I am Donald Eng.
You know, Don, years ago, I went to a taping of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I got to take the test to try to become a contestant.
How'd you do?
I didn't make it. That's all I know. All I know is that I didn't make it.
Just like
But
Ken
maybe
Jennings.
it's because I was too smart, and they were worried I would get all the money.
Well, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's like you didn't make it, Ken Jennings didn't make it, therefore.
Right, exactly. All right, well, anyway, before we throw it over to Rob Adams for the latest in local sports, getting back to a little more news today, the manager of the Post Road Diner contacted Darien police earlier this month to report a counterfeit $20 bill. Management told police that a regular customer had left the bill behind earlier in the day, but that it had been confirmed as a fake through a marker test earlier. It is not believed that the customer intentionally tried to pass the bill, and the restaurant has opted not to pursue charges against the customer. A Darien police officer was able to verify the marker test, and the bill lacked a security strip. Authorities contacted the Secret Service to report the counterfeit bill, and it was found that the bills with the same serial number that had been used a number of times across the state. The counterfeit bill was then turned over to the Secret Service. All right, time to throw it over to Rob Adams. Rob.
All right, in the future, by the way, it should be in the form of a question, who is Donald Ang? But thank you, Kate. Good morning, everyone, once again. I never liked the term instant classic, yet the events of last Thursday at Boyle Stadium allow one to think that, well, once again, we saw a, yes, dare I say, classic football game. Darien and New Canaan met in the 22nd Annual Turkey Bowl and the 50th Annual FCAC Championship, all squashed into one nice little casserole. The Blue Wave hung on for a 28-21 win on the strength of 4 touchdown passes from most valuable player Timmy Graham. Eric Gendron edited our broadcast into the highlights. Here's a little sample for you. And long inside the 30. Stepping up Graham. Graham throws it. He's got Stewart open. Near sideline. Touchdown Darien.
A busted coverage looked like Ryan O'Connell. Burnt again. He was burnt by Minikis earlier in the first half. This time it's Rock Stewart. Matt Cognetta trots off.
4th and goal at the 1. Send the jumbo package in. 3 in the backfield. The give. DeFranco. Did he duck down? Yes, touchdown.
They go back to the same play that Michael Collins scored on the initial opening drive with, that full house backfield. Instead of keeping the ball this time on a little naked bootleg, he hands it on the left power to DeFranco.
Waiting. Rushing 5 are the Rams. Graham, got to get rid of it. He does. Deep ball. Hudson Hamill at the 45 and down at the 31. And a frustrated defender pounding the turf. And there are 5 receivers total for Graham on 3rd and a nightmare. But he's got Minikis, who makes the catch. 20 and down at the 15. 2nd and a nightmare becomes a first down.
And just busted coverages everywhere for New Canaan. Colin Minikis, I don't know how you leave that type of player wide open. Little wheel route from being the inside receiver. And now Darien is in business.
21-21 and a 3rd and 5 at the New Canaan 8. Minikis, Stewart, and Hamill all out to the right. Rolling the pocket. Graham lobs it. Back of the end zone. Hudson Hamill. Touchdown.
What an amazing grab by Hudson Hamill in the back of the end zone. High points to football. Gets his feet down. And what a throw by Timmy Graham rolling to his right.
4th and 10 with 2:41 to go. 28-21. Play action rolling left. Here comes Ivanchik. Got him.
And the sack master for Darien is finally heard from. The one thing you cannot do, it's 4th and 10. Michael Collins, you have to evade pressure. Get rid of the football. Throw it up. The last thing you can do on 4th down is take a sack. And Mark Ivanchik makes New Canaan pay.
Or Andrew DeFranco, very dangerous near side. Collins to throw on 2nd down, slings it over the middle. He's got a man, Kyle Smith, turns at the 40, upfield to the 46. He lost it. It's recovered by Christian Trafone. And it's over. This one is going to be done in 1:08. Darien has recovered the ball for the 4th year in a row. The Darien Blue Wave have won the Turkey Bowl, and they are the 2015 FCAC champions.
And an amazing sight here at Boyle Stadium in Stamford. Fans, coaches.
The highlight package is so good, we'll show you the full thing during Nutmeg Sports because you've got to see it, including the interviews. We had an interview with Timmy Graham, who threw for 441 yards. Both teams now move on to the state playoffs. We'll have more about that a little bit down the line. By the way, we had a little self-congratulatory, but worth mentioning because it's so amazing, 11,144 unique views of that broadcast. So you can imagine more people gathered around. I know folks who were gathered around at many TV sets that they worked their computers into and whatnot. So 11,144 unique views of the big game online. But the part that blows me away personally, 122 countries watched that game back on Thursday. So when we were reading them all off during the third quarter of that game, that was legit stuff. Taiwan, Australia, and so on. I'm still mind blown by everything. Donald Eng and I will talk more about the game on Nutmeg Sports at 2. We're also hoping to be joined by Hudson Hamill of Darien, who we didn't get a chance to talk to on Thursday. A couple other quickies for you because we've got a lot to get to, and we'll do more of this on Nutmeg later on. Jack Potenza, 3 touchdown passes to Mike Whiting, covering 69, 5, and 62 yards. Fairfield Ward topped Fairfield Ludlow 35-14. Ridgefield, got to feel bad for the Tigers. They won 48-20 over Danbury, but a 28-26 Staples win over Greenwich and West Haven's victory over Fairfield Prep bounced the Tigers from the Class LL playoff scene. St. Joe's awaits New Fairfield in Class M. The Cadets knocked off Trumbull 17-10. Liam Separak was named the MVP for the Hogs, while Corey Haslam won the honor for the Eagles. Wilton a 14-12 lead in the latter part of the third. John Michael Bavona put on a show. Scores 3 times over the next 6 minutes or so of action. A pick 6 included. Trinity Catholic rumbled 41-14 over the Warriors. West Hill with a win over Stamford. Norwalk beat McMahon. Harding over Bridgeport Central. Ansonia, Stratford, and Barlow over Weston as well. Playoffs, as I mentioned, Darien will host West Haven in Class LL. Or rather, Shelton will host West Haven, Darien hosts Staples. We're so bursting at the seams, I don't want to take too much time here. That game will be at McMahon. Harding hosts Notre Dame of West Haven. New Canaan will travel to Windsor. Stratford goes to Killingly. St. Joseph at New Fairfield. Ansonia hosts Capital Advance. Trinity Catholic plays Morgan at Boyle Stadium. Seymour is at Granby. Again, lots to talk about. We'll get to it on Nutmeg Sports later on at 2. With sports, I'm Rob Adams. Back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, in Milford, the Storehouse Food Pantry assembled and distributed over 850 Thanksgiving baskets filled with turkey, stuffing, vegetables, and much more. The baskets were distributed last Monday at the Cornerstone Christian Center in Milford. The organization's clothing closet also offered shoes, clothing, and books free of charge to everyone who came to pick up a basket. The Storehouse Food Pantry provides groceries for over 50 families in Milford and from all over New Haven and Bridgeport counties each week. The pantry receives donations from the Connecticut Food Bank as well as local grocery stores and food drives. Families in need of assistance are encouraged to call them at 203-683-4840 Mondays through Fridays between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. But you can get more information at milfordmirror.com. And according to the Ridgefield Press, last year, Ridgefield resident Natalie Witten met with State Representative John Fry. The 16-year-old junior at Ridgefield High School is an active member of the Little People of America, and she explained to Fry that Connecticut did not recognize Dwarfism Awareness Month. 1 year has passed since that meeting, and due to continued activism of Natalie and the advocacy in the state capitol by Representative Fry, Connecticut now joins several other states in naming October as Dwarfism Awareness Month. An official bill signing took place back in October in the office of Governor Daniel Malloy. Natalie was joined by her parents and the family of 18-month-old Ridgefielder Annabella Morgan, who was also born with achondroplasia. When the Morgans learned that the bill establishing Dwarfism Awareness Month in Connecticut had been approved unanimously by the Connecticut House of Representatives and the state Senate in May, they reached out to Natalie through their pediatrician, and the two families have remained close since then. During that bill signing, Natalie told the governor that she advocated for Dwarfism Awareness Month in Connecticut so that children who have achondroplasia have an easier time growing up than she did. So some great activism there, but we are going to step out for a quick break, recap some of our top stories we're following today, and we're going to have a lot more to talk about on your coffee break after this.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where automation will never replace consideration, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at The Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
This fall for our red panda. That's right, Rashawn the red panda will be visiting the Beardsley Zoo for a limited time. Resembling raccoons, red pandas primarily eat bamboo, but will occasionally eat fruits, berries, young leaves, and certain tree bark, like their better-known black and white cousins. As an adult, Rashawn is expected to weigh 10 to 12 pounds, and you can see him at the South American Rainforest exhibit, Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo of Bridgeport. A whole new experience. 875 Noble Avenue, Bridgeport. 203-394-6565.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthe-game.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com.
And we're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that a historic home in Monroe was heavily damaged by fire Sunday and left unlivable. The state police fire marshal was on the scene investigating the early morning fire, which destroyed the home at 181 Hammertown Road. The fire was reported around 5 a.m., according to Kevin Catalano, the fire department spokesman in Monroe. Catalano said the house is historic and dates back to the 1770s. He said that by 11 a.m. Sunday, the fire was out, but the house was a complete loss. One resident was home at the time, but he was evacuated safely and evaluated for smoke inhalation. Fire units remained on the scene throughout the morning and early afternoon. And some bad news for festival lovers. The Gathering of the Vibes, which for some 2 decades has brought a long summer weekend of music to Bridgeport, will not be returning in 2016. Founder and operator Ken Hayes wrote in a letter posted online last Friday that festival organizers hope to return in 2017. He wrote that producing the Vibes as an independent promoter is a challenging endeavor, and after 20 years, they need a time out. And a Trumbull student is opposing a school administration ruling that there be no school field trips to major cities in response to terrorist threats. In a letter to the Trumbull Times, Ethan Bashand wrote that during one of his classes, they were informed that the district has decided to cancel all trips to major cities in response to threats made against the United States by the terrorist group ISIS. Bashand says that in his opinion, bending to the will of the terror organization is the worst way to handle the situation. You can read his entire letter at trumbulltimes.com. And in some good news this time of year, the Norotan Fire Department in Darien will be participating in the collection of toys for the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tots program. The Toys for Tots program provides donated toys to less fortunate children locally for the Christmas season. Last year, the program distributed 16.8 million toys nationwide to more than 7 million children. This will mark Norotan Fire's 6th year participating in the Toys for Tots program. With Darien's help and generosity, the Norotan Fire Department hopes to collect over 2,000 toys this year. The unwrapped donated gifts can be left in the drop box there that will be located in the parking lot at the rear of the Norotan Firehouse, which is at 1873 Post Road. You can get more information on that at DarienTimes.com. Going to throw it over to Rob Adams for one last look at today's weather. Rob?
All right, Kate, thanks very much. Partly sunny day, high near 42. Trying to get the sun out there, although those roads were looking a little damp before. Wind chill values between 25 and 35. It is chilly out there for sure. And the wind out of the northeast from 5 to 9. Tonight, slight chance of rain after 3 in the morning. Mostly cloudy, low 31. Rain mainly after 9 tomorrow morning, high near 45. More rain Tuesday night, cloudy, temperatures rising to 46 by midnight. Wednesday, showers likely, cloudy, the high 54 with a southwest wind, thus making it a little bit warmer. Wednesday night, showers likely mainly before 10. The low drops down to 38. Sunny, 47 for Thursday. Sunny, 47 for Friday. Sunny and 46 for Saturday. Right now around the area, we have Ridgefield at 37. Greenwich is up to 41, and it is 37 degrees right here in Shelton. Kate?
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with a special guest from Griffin Hospital. We're going to be talking about sleep wellness, maybe get some tips on how we could all get a better night's rest. That's coming up on your coffee break after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Football University, the nation's leading football training experience, is now accepting applications for its 2015 camps. Our elite faculty of NFL coaches and top professionals teach position-specific on the field and in the classroom to improve your football IQ and help you reach your full potential as a player. Apply today at footballuniversity.org. Football University, where technique plus talent beats talent alone.
The fall bite is heating up. Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait in the Long Island Sound. This is the time to visit the New England coast, and the Dock Shop can get you outfitted with the latest fishing gear, jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece. Boater, beach bum, fishermen simply love the New England coast. This is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
And we're back on your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, joined now by Jackie Hoyle, who is the coordinator of the Sleep Wellness Center at Griffin Hospital. Jackie, welcome.
Hello, thank you. Good morning.
Now, this is something I've only learned about recently, and when I think of a hospital, I don't really think of a good night's sleep. But can you tell us a little bit about the Sleep Center?
So the Sleep Center at Griffin, we have 4 beds total. We run 7 nights a week. We also do daytime testing for people who work shifts or work the nights, things like that. And we're a full comprehensive center, which means, we test for everything, all sleep issues. So, a lot of people, when they hear sleep issues, they think of the most common sleep disorder, which is obstructive sleep apnea. We also test for narcolepsy, REM behavior disorders, and such. So a wide gamut of patients that we see.
And how common is it that people have sleep disorders? I mean, this can be really, and does it often go undiagnosed?
It often goes undiagnosed. Probably about 25% of the population has been correctly diagnosed. But as things we're doing here, we're coming out trying to educate the population. More of the doctors are screening their patients better. So we're seeing a lot more of those patients being screened properly, therefore we're diagnosing them properly.
And how does the diagnosis process work for most people?
So what happens is the patient would see their physician in the office, they would do a screener. A lot of times spouses are involved where their significant other is snoring a lot and keeping them up at night. Mm-hmm. So that prompts the conversation with the doctor. So what happens is the physician sends the order over to us in the sleep lab for either a test or for a consultation with one of our sleep physicians. And then that gets the ball rolling.
Wow. And so if somebody does have to kind of stay overnight and get monitored, I know you guys go to great lengths to make that as comfortable as possible,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. So at Griffin, the rooms are pretty much set up like a hotel suite. So we like to joke that it's pretty much a timeshare. But we tell the patients, look at it as though it's a timeshare for the night. But we make it very comfortable for the patients. You know, there's mahogany finishes on everything. It's really, really quite nice. It's not, you know, sterile. It is sterile and it's all appropriate,
right.
But it's a lot more welcoming when the patient comes in,
right.
the atmosphere.
And from what I hear, the center is kind of unusual in the state. You guys are doing something that not everyone else is doing.
That's correct. So we are accredited by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, and that's the highest credential you can carry for a sleep lab. So that's a process that every 5 years we have to go through and be approved for. So.
Right. And now most people once in a while suffer some bouts of insomnia, snoring issues. I mean, do you have any suggestions for, you know, what people can do if they're just not thinking that they're getting a good night's rest?
The best thing you could do is talk to your physician. If you talk to your physician, you know, sometimes people are snoring for a bit, could be they're congested, things like that, or it could be a larger issue. So it's important if you are experiencing some issues to talk to your doctor about it, and then they would kind of see if we need to look into it a bit more.
Right. And what are some of the most common issues?
So the most common issues are for snoring. So a lot of people think because you snore you have apnea. That's not the case. Snoring is a symptom of sleep apnea. But if you're snoring and you feel some more symptoms, such as you're much more fatigued than you would be normally, high blood pressure, things like that, then it's really something to look into. If it's, you're having an issue with insomnia for a period of time, a lot of times that could be a life event, something you're stressing out about, or, loss of a family member, things like that. It should be a temporary thing. If it's lasting more than a few months, you definitely want to talk to your doctor about that.
And now, Jackie, sleep deprivation can be dangerous.
Absolutely. A lot of the traffic accidents now are related to sleep deprivation, along with untreated sleep disorders, which lead to sleep deprivation. So it's really important, we see a lot of patients who are on the road for their job, driving vehicles for their positions at work. And now what we're seeing is when they go through their annual physical, they're having to be screened for any sleep issues. And if they do show positive, they have to come in to see us, get diagnosed appropriately, show that they're compliant with their therapy to get their CDLs renewed and such.
Wow, that's really interesting. And I know you guys have a special talk coming up.
Yes,
Can you
we
tell us
do.
about
We
that?
have a talk this coming Thursday night, which is the 3rd, and it's at 6:30 at the hospital. It's in the Resource Center. And Royce York, who is the director of our laboratory, will be giving the talk about some helpful hints, how to get a better night's rest, some sleep disorders going into that a bit, but mostly, sleep hygiene and things you can do to help yourself sleep better.
Oh, that's great. All right. And how can people get more information if they can't
So
make the
more
talk?
information, they can go to the website, griffinhealth.org. Under that, you can look under, if you hit under the S there, it goes to the sleep laboratory. It'll give you a bunch of information about the sleep lab. It'll show you some pictures. It'll also have a screener. There's also a screener attached there, so if you think you're having an issue, you can, look at that and then bring it to your doctor. And there's a lot of information online, or they can just give us a call in the main office at 203-732-7571.
All right, great. So Jackie Hoyle of the Sleep Wellness Center at Griffin, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, that's going to do it for today's coffee break. I'll be back tomorrow at 11. Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 today. Have a great day, everyone.